Hello everyone, welcome to this video about some really cool Lage Lund gypsy jazz licks. I'll explain in a minute. Yeah, so maybe you saw the thumbnail or you watched the title and you were thinking, Lage Lund, gypsy jazz? That must be a new thing, but I'm sad to say it isn't. Well, I'm not sad to say it isn't. He's of course a great player that sounds great on an archtop, so why would he want to play a gypsy jazz guitar? It's just a joke because I'm going to talk about Lage Lund, but I'm using a gypsy jazz guitar because it's much easier for me to get the sound right. Because with an archtop, like I explained before in my Peter Bernstein series, link to that series in the description, it's very difficult to get the archtop sounding right and then have the volume correctly with my voice because I'm only using this mic. So let's get started with some Lage Lund. So I'm starting a new series on Lage Lund, a couple of videos, and this is the first video in the series. I'm going to show you some really cool licks and show you how to use them, and then I'll make another video which will be available only on Patreon, so for my patrons. So if you want to have access to that video, join my Patreon, link in the description. And then I'll make another video for YouTube and I'll alternate until I finish the series, and I will make a final video for my highest level patrons on Patreon. That's my $10 level. So if you want to have access to everything, you can join that tier. But you can also just watch the free videos on YouTube, of course. You'll get some really nice lines that way as well. So let's head to the first line with the tab. So this first line is a line for E minor. It's pretty long. It's actually two lines, so you could just use one of them or you could use them both in conjunction like they're written here, and they sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. Now a big part of the Lage Lund sound is actually the slides that you don't pick, right? So and the hammer-ons, pull-offs. That kind of legato sound is a big part of his playing, and I was trying to kind of mimic that in the intro by doing more of those kind of phrases than normal. They were not all Lage Lunds, but that's how you get the sound, right? Maybe a little bit more of a straighter timing, and then using all those slides, hammer-ons, pull-offs. So a good song to demonstrate this is the song I was playing in the beginning called Dinah, because it has this long E minor part in the bridge. And now you might say, well, but aren't the chords like E minor, B7, E minor, A7, E minor, A? Well, yes, but it's all E minor, right? That's the same if you have E minor, B7, E minor. That's the same as having like E minor with a D sharp in the bass, E minor with a D, right? That kind of sound, like with the moving note, which are all kind of E minor chords. So you can play this kind of line on those changes too. So let me just demonstrate that on the bridge of Dinah, and I'll improvise a little bit in the A parts. There you go, and I was playing a little bit differently, but it's mainly about this kind of effect. Very cool. I have another E minor long line. Here it is. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. By the way, if you want to download all these steps, they are also downloadable also from my Patreon, from all my videos. So the nice thing about this line is, again, the chromaticism, or the chromaticism with all the slides, and the hammer-ons, and then this E minor 6 arpeggio at the end. That's very Gypsy just like to do, so I like it automatically. But this kind of chromaticism is very a striking sound, right? It is not even that complicated to analyze or to know the theory about, but it's more, you never do it. You never play that kind of chromaticism on the guitar. At least I won't. I'm not, but I'm starting to do it by studying Lage Lund much more. I also like the contrast between the chromaticism in the beginning and then this big arpeggio at the end. So again, we can of course play that on Dyna. It's also nice to just play it before we go to E minor, kind of like a pickup or like a 5-1. So I will start now in the second A, but much earlier with the line. Yeah, you gotta find the right spot for it, but I think you get my point. Okay, let's go to some other lines, not minor lines anymore. So here is a line. Oh, let's go to the first one. Oh, that is this one, yeah. Here's a line for E7, E minor, A7, D. Right, so it's these changes like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the 2, 5, 2, D. But you could also kind of see like E7 and then just A7. This kind of thing I talked about before, where you have a 2-5, but instead of the 2 being a minor chord, you have a dominant chord and all the chords less 2 bars. I made a special video only about that, and I will link it. It's called G7, C7F. That video is called that way, so I'll link it. And of course we can play this on Coquette, my favorite tune to demonstrate stuff. And why? Because it's in D, but the bridge goes first 2-5 to G major, and then we get it E7, and exactly there I can play this, and it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. The resolution on D is not that important. We're talking about the first 4 bars mainly. There's a couple of things we can learn from it. For example, the first thing we can learn is that on E7 he plays D major 7 arpeggio, and then on the 2-5 he kind of plays a G minor idea. Which sounds pretty outside in the beginning, because if the chord is still E minor and he plays this, so So he's just actually thinking A7, kind of this sound. A7 sus flat 9, or G minor with the A in the bass. So we can also just play those two bars and use it for a regular 2-5, right? If we have a 2-5 in G, we can just play that. So let me do that in Coquette. So I'll just play the whole line in the bridge, but I can also just play the two bars on the E minor A7 as a 2-5, both in D and G. So we go to Coquette, right here. Go. I play one slide that's not there. I do from the A to the B in the second bar. You can also, of course, pick. But if you slide, it will sound more like a Lage Lund thing. Let's go to the next one. We did that. Let's do this one. So here we have a 2-5 to D. And then again A7 to D. So it's the end of the A part Coquette where you have a 2-5 to D and then a turnaround back to D. That's what's happening here, but actually what he's playing is 1 bar of E minor 7, and then he's playing 3 bars of A7 to D. So he's he's ignoring the resolution to D. So perfect for a turnaround type of situation. And that sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Three, 4. Sounds really cool if you play it a little bit faster. So Coquette is a bit slow, but let me demonstrate it anyway. So the end of the first A, and then I will do it the end of this third A back to D. And the bridge I will try to play the previous lick also. Pretty cool. And now, because bar 3 and 4 is actually just A7, you could use those 2 bars as a 2-5. That's what I wrote down here. And then you just get this: 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. That's easy to transpose. So we've played in G. It would be here, right? It's in the middle of this A minor shape for 2-5 to G, and then we start on that third. So we can play that on Coquette on all 2 5s. Oh, the backing track stopped, but I hope you heard that. Let's go to the next phrase. And that is the E minor lick we already did. Oh, I think those were all the phrases. Let me see if I didn't miss one. This is the first one. Yeah, that's the E minor lick. Yeah. Yeah. Those were all the phrases for today. Maybe I'll play a little bit more, and then I'll try to incorporate all the licks. And then in the next few days, I'll make the second video with more Lage Lund stuff for Patreon. So, one final time. There you go. These licks are not that difficult. Well, especially not in this tempo, of course. When you play up tempo, it might be a little bit more difficult to get all those slides sounding well timed. And if there's one thing about Lage Lund that is amazing, apart from his lines, it's his amazing time feel. So always work with the lines with metronome. Again, if you want access to the next video, which will be exclusive to Patreon, check it out, the link, and also to download all the tabs. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!